Welcome to the Books, Beards, Booze podcast, where we talk books, drink booze, and have beards.
All right. As always, I am Bob of Tales by Bob.
I'm the ass of the podcast, Derek.
I'm creative consultant Tanya.
Everyone knows when you dance when you're
Creative consultant Tanya.
There you
Yeah. So, super hyped for this week, but before we dive into our topic, which is rad, so brand ambassador Ryan listened to our episode about the Vigi games,
Yes.
go. Them gosh darn video
and
games.
he had this awesome suggestion of the fact that we didn't think of it makes me feel dumb.
Okay.
Kings of the Wild,
Yes.
a Guitar Hero clone
Duh.
with combat arenas. Like
Dang, that'd be so fun.
a just
rock band instead
Yeah,
of Guitar
like
Hero.
a
That way
rock
you could
band.
you could be the drums and all
yeah,
that stuff
like
too.
that would
Yeah.
just be like figure out a way to make
competitive rock
an
band.
RPG rock band Kings of the Wild. Come on,
Golly.
Can you imagine how much time I would have wasted on that back in Troy?
Jesus,
Well, I played so much
what a
goddamn
fucking
Guitar
and like
Hero.
we had two different Kings of the Wild suggestions, and none of us thought of that.
None of us. That's amazing.
But see, that's because there's only so much of that is involved with a game that already exists. A lot of that is just an idea that they would have to develop. So of course we didn't think of it because
True.
we're not brand ambassador Ryan.
True. All right, so super hype. This week we are debating, and we each have our own individual answer. What is the best media franchise based on a book?
I have a great answer.
Okay, and so me and Derek. Everyone knows what me and Derek picked, but neither of us know what Tanya picked.
I got that sleeper pick, boys.
Yeah. So
That's what you get for getting in the group chat and me having the benefit of having been busy at the time. Y'all picked, and I was like, ooh, then I can pick literally anything
Yeah.
other than the two things y'all
I'm
picked.
comfortable with my decision.
All right. So how do we?
I think I'm
how,
going to surprise you.
How do we want do? How do we want to do this?
Well,
Who
do
wants
you
to go
have any
first?
that you wanted to talk about aside from
Well, all right,
your
first,
main one?
First off,
Well, you don't want to do that in case it's something you chose.
well, you didn't pick Winnie the Pooh, did you?
I did not.
All right, so get this.
Because y'all talked about Winnie the Pooh, so I brought notes for lots of other things.
Yeah, so get this.
I call nonsense.
if
There's
you-
no way she brought notes even as I see her holding
Look
notes.
at this. Listen to the
Oh
sound
my god,
of
I'm sure they
notes
heard it when you
papers.
opened them because you didn't even open them before we left.
Yeah.
Before we
Bob,
started
Bob
recording.
counted down too quick, and I was trying to open my
Bitch, it's
papers.
3 either way.
He was fast. He was like, 1, 2, 3.
I don't think
Jesus.
Bob does
All right.
nothing fast.
Yeah.
Except for walking airports.
He
True.
does. He walks incredibly fast.
I
He gets
do.
out of cars fast.
Yeah.
He eats fast.
Yeah, he does.
Okay, so I do a lot of things fast,
Yeah,
but
okay.
nothing important.
I wanted to
I don't
cuss
do
you
any-
out at D&D when you were eating those fucking burning hot chocolate chip cookies.
Oh, they were so good.
You dumb bastard.
They were so good.
Chocolate chips are so good.
But so we found a list on Wikipedia of like the biggest media franchises that were out there, and they like would put like, you know, what was its origin. So Winnie the Pooh is far and away like if you're just going by money, Winnie the Pooh probably outranks all of ours combined. It's like $93 billion is what it's earned.
He's
And-
got like 13 characters with all the little plushy toys.
Well, and that's actually most of its money comes from merchandise.
yeah,
That's,
all the toys.
and
all
also
the
it's been
swag.
around since like the 30s.
And you got little baby bedrooms.
Yeah.
And the crowning achievement is that it's...
Derek was named after
I was
it.
named after
Yeah.
Christopher Robin. That's my middle
That's
name's
really a
Christopher.
detractor, I think.
No, it's not. I loved Winnie the Pooh.
Oh, that's hateful, Tanya. Why would you say so? Derek, God, that's just so mean. What? Wow, that's
So
his
rude.
name.
Is
this?
That's his
Yeah.
name.
What is this? I just got sucked into an alternate reality. Excuse me,
Well,
I
what happened
go
is
elsewhere.
he was talking about Winnie the Pooh, so he was like, I need to be nice
Yeah.
because Winnie the Pooh.
Yeah.
'Cause
So
Winnie the Pooh's
that's the only
great.
one I took note of that I don't know that you wouldn't have possibly picked.
Oh, okay.
So
Yeah, I didn't do that.
I
don't think you're... Even if
I
you
want
read
Tanya
your
to
notes...
go last.
I
want
can
Tanya to
go
last.
first if you
want to go first.
I'll-
Okay.
'cause
Yeah, go first.
So here's the thing. What I chose, I feel a little guilty about choosing, but it fits like a glove, and it'll give Bob an opportunity to make a joke.
Like a glove.
And also, I started to do research, and then looked up and it had been an hour.
Yeah.
So
Same.
So I stopped because there was too many numbers involved, and I was
Yeah.
doing math, and there was
You're trying to do quantifiable,
Dude, there was-
numerical, statistical
yes,
best.
Yeah.
No.
we're
Have
just-
you ever been on this podcast?
Well,
We
bitch,
never
you brought
use facts.
notes.
I
I'm
did.
fucking
Copious.
I always bring notes.
Copious
I got
notes.
a full page of notes over here. Look at this.
I always have my phone, which I have a
I have scraggly
Google
notes,
Drive.
but-
Anyways, my choice is the Shonen Jump, the weekly Shonen Jump magazine.
And
For manga.
to be clear,
Japan.
Derek asked ahead of time, like, "Hey, does manga count?" And we're like, "Yeah, sure."
If
fuck it,
comic
yeah.
books count.
Yeah, comic
so-
books count because like, Batman was high on the list of media franchises, and like I do love Batman, but I didn't pick it.
Now,
but-
here's the reason I was thinking, because I felt kind of bad about this, because this is almost like picking Marvel and DC. You know what I mean? Like you're picking an overarching brand that has smaller brands under it.
yeah,
But I was given the okay, so I did it. So I
Yeah.
started doing research. So, not in case you don't do the manga very much,
or the anime,
or the animes, yes.
I like mangoes.
So in case you don't do, anyways, so, first of all, Shonen Jump is a weekly. Well, it started in 1968. It was called. I think it came out bi-weekly then. It came out every 2 weeks.
It's just called Jump, then, right?
Yeah, I think so. I did a ton of research, but I didn't write that one. That
Yeah.
specifically the name. I know the name has changed a couple of times, and there's offshoots, things like that. But in '68 it started and went to current day. It was done every 2 weeks back then. In '69 they changed
Giggity.
it to weekly because they had they already had a magazine that was weekly before it. But when this started doing so well, they just moved this to weekly.
Okay.
So it is probably the birthplace of some of the greatest manga and anime of all time. Like
Bleach.
it is,
Naruto.
it's responsible for Dragon Ball, Bleach, Naruto, One Piece, Rurouni Kenshin, Slam Dunk.
Did you do Berserk?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
Berserk's too dark, I think,
Yeah.
for Shonen Jump.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah.
But so a lot of the most accomplished series or intellectual properties
Yeah.
have come out of Shonen Jump. So just from a little brief research, in manga magazines alone, they've made $21 billion. Manga volumes, so not the magazine, but when they collected volumes and sold those, they made $12 billion, close to 13, and then on video games they've made $217 million just on video games.
Which I feel like that is where there's
Well-
that's a real growth opportunity.
Well, I'm not
space
entirely
there.
sure about these statistics because there's more information that I have coming down the pipe. For
Okay.
example, of all of the things that I just mentioned, there are some gargantuan titles in there, but I chose 2 and went like deep on those out of curiosity. So I think probably arguably the 2 biggest of the Shonen Jump things is Dragon Ball and Naruto.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Dragon,
Now-
dragon,
now-
And
lots of dragon.
I've watched neither, but
Right.
Tanya, you're big
I do
Dragon
like
Ball.
Dragon Ball,
Dragon
Dragon
Ball
Ball
fan.
Z.
Yeah.
So, Dragon Ball. 519 individual chapters. Collected in 42 manga volumes. It spawned 4 anime. Dragon Ball, which is 153 episodes.
Which is my favorite.
too long.
Dragon Ball Z.
Which is also great.
219 episodes.
Also too
Smattering
Oh,
long.
I'm sorry. Excuse me. 291.
Smattering of fucking movies.
Too long.
We'll get there.
GT.
I included GT even though
which
it's
is just a
non-canon.
rehashing, really.
Well, no, that's
of-
Kai. DBGT is when he gets shrunk. Well, depending on how you want to look
How many
at
episodes
it.
is it?
64.
Still too long.
And then Dragon Ball Super, which is currently at 131,
Yep.
if I'm remembering
Also
correctly.
too long.
For a total of 639 total episodes.
Cut out the power-up scenes, and you get your
26 episodes.
Yeah.
No, you wouldn't. You'd still get significantly more than that. But it's also
I love it.
responsible for 20 animated movies,
Yup.
6 TV specials.
One live action we don't talk about.
I literally didn't even put it on here, Tanya.
one live action
Oh my
movie and we
God,
don't
you're
talk
like,
about.
It made it's currently made an estimated $369.5 million just in Japan for anime sales.
Yeah.
And so here's the thing. I looked up games. I didn't look too hard at it because there was tons of them.
Oh yeah.
But I counted them, and I'm sure there's probably some that like were released on multiple things or something.
Right.
But if not, then there was almost 100. 100
Games.
Dragon Ball games.
Yeah. Now I'm sure the bulk of those probably didn't get released over here.
No, but you'd be surprised
still.
at how many of them were.
Yeah, oh, yeah, yeah.
And the first one came out like in the 80s. So
Yeah.
it's been a minute.
So I'm going to go ahead and say that me and you are going to be tied on here. When we get to mine and talk about that, I'll talk about why me and you are going to be tied. But so
I mean, y'all can be tied all you want because
Well, and
y'all
that's
can be
it.
tied for second place because this
yeah.
bitch got number one.
Okay.
Like
But-
best.
yeah, no, I'm not. None of Shonen Jump's stuff really appeals to me.
Yeah.
They're cool concepts, but again, like I just don't like the things that run super long like that, you know. But a lot of people really do, you know. Like there's a huge number of One Piece fans. There's like fucking 700 episodes of that shit. and people
Actually,
still love it.
there's close to 950 issues at this point, and there's currently I didn't write down how many episodes.
No,
are
it's
currently out.
over 700 episodes.
Oh, I know.
I looked at it.
I'm
Yeah.
well aware.
Oh yeah, no, I was like, God damn.
I'm still in the weekly. Oh, my new episode came out. I'm still in the anime game, so I know when a new episode comes out because
Yeah.
I see it, that it pops up and I go, "Oh, that's something I'll never ever catch up on."
Yeah, no. So I definitely respect it.
But so purely on how long it's been around, the influence it's had on storytelling as a whole, especially in its
genre
field.
Yeah.
Stupid huge influence.
Is it would you say it's the biggest player in the manga anime?
I am not from Japan.
Yeah.
I don't feel comfortable.
what?
Shut up. I
Wait, are you
don't
saying you're not an expert in Japan? I
look.
think,
My thing
what,
is
what even is this?
Well, look, I'm pretty.
But okay, correct.
I'm
so you're
concerned
not,
that I'm
you're not-
missing something,
Right.
you
You're
know,
all right.
like-
Well, would you say it's the biggest in America? Like that, or are you still just not? I think it'd have to be because nothing else popped up on the list, on that media franchise list. You know,
Naruto didn't pop up on there.
no, it was under Shonen Jump.
Dragon Ball was there separately.
No, I don't think so.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Is
No, that's what I'm saying.
you're saying Shonen Jump? Oh, I see.
Yeah,
what you're
Shonen
saying.
Jump. Yeah. No, as Shonen Jump as a company.
Oh, I thought you were just talking about specifically.
Oh no.
Oh no. As far as I know, yeah, they're
Okay.
it.
Yeah, I was about to say it seems like they're the big dog player.
Yeah.
They're if you took Marvel and DC and combined them, that would be Shonen Jump.
Yeah, but I was looking at this. I thought you were saying like, is Dragon Ball the biggest? I'm
Oh.
like, I don't know because of the next thing that I'm going to briefly talk about, which
Lay
is
it on us.
Naruto.
Yeah.
I run like Naruto. I have run like Naruto.
I'm so
I
proud
have
of you right now.
Literally witnessed her Naruto run.
Trying to get rid of the
Legitimately.
ants. Yeah.
Legit. Oh, wait.
No, he was making me run and
Oh right, and you were just.
he was like, go jog, and he's like, stop flailing. And I was like, okay, I'll Naruto run.
Yeah.
Kind of
fair.
did. I did the
Because
thing.
she definitely flails.
I don't like running, so I just I put zero effort into it. Keep going.
Yeah.
So Naruto, 700 individual chapters, 72 manga volumes, spawned 3 shows. Naruto, which ran for 220 episodes.
Too long.
Naruto Shippuden, which ran for 500 episodes.
Way too long.
And currently, Boruto, which is the son of Naruto, which is ongoing.
Boringato.
And currently, as of tomorrow, will be 110 episodes.
Too long.
Which is a current total of 830 episodes.
Fuck all that.
Also, at a later date when we have a different conversation, I will make the argument that I think Naruto is probably the greatest instance of long-term characterization storytelling of all time.
Okay. Okay.
yeah.
That's good.
But
All right,
it's
so-
super long, 11 OVAs,
Yeah.
11 movies, 56 different video games from 6 different series that are different types, including
Fighting games.
others, and arcade games. Yeah, it's got I couldn't find specific numbers for how much money it's made.
A lot.
But yeah, we're gonna go with a lot, here. But yeah, and then I already mentioned the other ones, but the only other information I really found was One Piece had 950 issues and 14 movies.
Yeah.
So the point is, it's spawned so much content. Jesus fucking Christ.
Yeah.
And it's incredibly influential in its own field, we'll say.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
Okay.
that's
your
one
case?
that's my case.
Okay, I like it. No, it's a good case. It's a compelling case.
It touches on a ton of different things.
Yeah.
It's influential to its genre.
I don't disagree with you. I
think yours is also a good answer.
Okay,
but
so I picked,
can we make an agreement right now that we're just going to, on principle, disagree with Tanya?
Yeah, I think that's
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay, agreement made.
No, but all right. So I
Okay.
picked Middle Earth. All right, Lord of the Rings, The Hobbit, Silmarillion, all that by J.R.R. Tolkien. And I'm just going to.
Gerald Ronald Tolkien. Rolkin Tolkien.
I don't think that's accurate.
Rolkin Tolkien. That's his name.
Okay, we'll put a pin in that. We'll revisit that, but I don't think you're correct there.
I'm going to put you outside.
So, all right. So,
That's his
book sales 9.1 billion, box office 5.8 billion, home video 4.1 billion, merchandise 435 million, licensing 225 million, video game 62 million. Okay. So that's the money. It's made a lot of money. It hasn't made as much as Shonen Jump. There's a lot of things that have made more money. But here
It does have a dragon sword's worth.
here
though.
are my 7 points of why it's the best.
Okay.
1, it has the best, like, all these are based off of books, all right? That's the premise
Yeah.
here. It has the best books, Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit, and the best world building. Like, so the argument is, like, based off of books. I want to say that of the franchises, these are the best books.
Gotcha.
Okay, 2.
I fundamentally disagree.
Okay, 2. The bulk of what we talk about is fantasy novels. Fantasy, as we know it today, would not exist without Tolkien.
Correct.
Okay, so like early days of fantasy, Ballantine, under the direction of editor Lynn Carter, published public domain and relatively obscure works under the banner of Ballantine Adult Fantasy Series, and specifically aimed it at people who liked Tolkien. Lester Del Rey looked for new books that would appeal to Tolkien fans, and that's where we get Sword of Shannara by Terry Brooks. You also get Chronicles of Thomas Covenant, The Unbeliever by Stephen Donaldson. You get David Eddings' Belgariad, stuff like that. Like, so early days of modern fantasy is Tolkien was
The guy.
was central, and like everyone, like, so I know, like, the Chronicles of Thomas Covenant, The Unbeliever, that is a reaction to Tolkien. It was one of the first things. It's very Tolkien-ish, but it was highly controversial because he's Thomas Covenant. He's the unbeliever. He's a leper, all right? He slips into this fantasy world, but he doesn't believe that there's a fantasy world. Like, this is like opening chapters, like first 2 chapters, and he rapes a woman. Like, he shows up, doesn't believe that this is real.
He thinks he's dreaming.
He thinks he's dreaming, rapes a woman. Come to find out, oh shit, it's real. So it's like it was a reaction to, but the format is still very Tolkien. But it was like, oh, he's not a good dude, but
Yeah.
you're kind of the hero, like, not the first anti-hero, but an early anti-hero. Stuff like that. Point 3, music. So here are some bands that are very Tolkien. They've either done songs or albums or maybe their name. Rush, The Zepp, Styx, Blind Guardian, Nightwish, Amon Amarth, Megadeth, Enya, Nickel Creek, Black Sabbath, all bands heavily influenced by the Tolkien.
You had me at Megadeth.
I was like, you had me at Enya, honestly.
Any of these would be good picks.
Oh,
Wow. Blindsided.
Yeah. So, point 4. However you want Lord of the Rings content, you can fucking get it. Do you like radio dramas? They're out there. You like plays? You betcha. Musicals? Animated movies? Yes, regular movies, musicals, video games, Legos, card games, board games, computer games. Like, however you consume media, there is a Lord of the Rings version of it. Virtually guaranteed. Point 5 is, so the biggest MMO of all time, Warcraft, World of Warcraft, all right? Warcraft is heavily based off of Games Workshop. Warhammer, stuff like that. Like, its aesthetic, how the races work is very based off Warhammer. Warhammer is the parent company's Games Workshop. Heavily influenced by Lord of the Rings. Heavily influenced.
Yes.
Point 6. It's the major influence on D&D. Like, D&D culture would not exist the way that... It would probably still exist, but it would be nothing like the way it is now because of Lord of the Rings. Point 7. They are literally trying to turn him into a saint. They have started proceedings to beatify him.
Like,
so
wait, 100%?
Yes, 100%. Like, his home Catholic Church has started the beatification process. Now, I bet it's going to get denied because I've never heard of him performing a miracle, and that's kind of being a saint.
He made the society at large interested in elves.
True. But so anyway, so here's my point, and why I think me and you tie. If you're talking Western culture, or Anglo culture, like Britain, America, anything like that, I would argue that there is no greater influence than Lord of the Rings. It's so pervasive. Like, you watch, there's all these sitcoms that you watch that they just crack Lord of the Rings jokes and everyone gets it. It's so pervasive. People who've never read a Lord of the Rings book get the references. Like they just do. But the argument is, like, I would argue that Shonen Jump is just as influential in the Eastern world.
Probably.
So I don't think you can really rate one over the other because they're one of the most influential franchises in their sphere.
I would argue against that by one thing that I think Shonen does better than Lord of the Rings is the fact that purely based on what it is, it goes off in different directions. It allows for a variety that is not provided in Tolkien.
Well, but see, here's the thing. I think you get that in a different way because you don't get it directly from Tolkien. Like, the Tolkien estate isn't like franchising out, like, oh, hey, guys, write some books under the Tolkien name or anything like that, you know? But it's just how it's been so influenced. Like, all the fantasy that we read, to whether it is influenced by Tolkien or is a reaction to Tolkien, there's very little. Now, people like today, we're getting more stuff that's more trying to break away from Tolkien, but really, like, most of the media that we enjoy to a large degree, we wouldn't have in the way it is about Tolkien.
And I would argue that in the anime world, it's the same for Shonen, but I just meant genre of entertainment, because they would have all the same things for the most part, like dramas and show. What is the word that you...
I've never heard of a Naruto musical, Derek.
There actually is one.
Well, shit.
Yeah. That I saw and was like, I kind of want to see that.
Probably runs like 37
hours, weeks.
Yeah.
No, but the other point was, I was just going to say, it's not all fantasy. Like, some of it is Slam Dunk is a basketball story. It's just about a team of young guys trying to make it to nationals.
Yeah.
That was the only thing I could really think of. It's like, it provides a little more variety of...
Yeah. I would say the counter to that, like, if we're trying to compare them one-on-one, Shonen Jump is like, because we don't live in Japan, we can't really make, like, Lord of the Rings is far more influential in America than anything Shonen Jump. Like, there are segments of America that, like, fucking live everything Shonen Jump, but
they
like
jump for joy.
But, like, if you're watching Big Bang Theory, you're not getting a lot of Shonen Jump references in comparison to, like, Lord of the Rings.
I would also make the argument that Lord of the Rings just actually has the leg up. especially in the context of films, just because of the critical acclaim that it has as well.
All right,
I've just enjoyed listening to y'all's debate, knowing.
All right, lay it on us. I am so excited.
Are you prepared for this, Bob?
All right. So, when y'all were doing your research, did you come across anything that you were surprised that was based on a book? Because I was. I came across quite a few things. I was like, really?
I'll say this: the one thing I seriously considered doing, just because it might be my favorite of these, but I just couldn't make the argument that it was the most. James Bond.
Yeah, the Bond.
I just love Bond. Seriously considered that. But no, I think I pretty well knew most of the stuff that was based on books.
How to Train Your Dragon? That's based on a book. I didn't realize How to Train Your Dragon. Those movies I love them.
Is that what you picked?
No.
Oh,
this is just some banter.
Okay.
But the Bourne Identity, that Bourne franchise, that's a book. Yeah. Obviously Jurassic Park, Harry Potter. Mm-hmm. Starship Troopers.
Yep. I've read
Shrek.
Most of these.
It's based on a book.
Okay, that did surprise me. I didn't know that Shrek was
based on a book.
Yeah, Shrek was based on a book.
I thought about that one real hard. I was like, oh god.
Yeah, no, that was on there. Yeah. I considered Harry Potter at one point.
Yeah,
but
and then Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, based on a book. That whole based critical to our Christmas culture at this point. Yeah. But no, things that I didn't pick. Chronicles of Narnia.
Yeah.
Really influential, lots of things. Mm-hmm. Game of Thrones, obviously. Die Hard was based on a book.
Okay, I didn't know that one, but I remember reading that.
Yeah, Die Hard. There's 2 books actually. But okay, what I picked.
Please tell me you picked Rambo.
No, but that's also based on a book. I saw that on the thing.
The book is actually better. They kill each other at the end of the book.
Yeah, I did not
pick
Rambo.
The sheriff and Rambo kill each other.
Spoilers.
I picked a franchise that has the first book was written in 1956. And then there was a sequel in 1967.
That's a big gap.
There's been 2 animated films. There's been 2 live action films. An animated TV series from the late 90s. And one that's starting this year, an animated series. There's a video game, a musical, all kinds of toys and fun things.
What the fuck?
101 Dalmatians.
Oh, get the fuck out of my house.
101 Dalmatians.
God, because you're always hungry, just like that
I
little...
am. I'm always hungry like Rolly. He's like, I'm hungry, mother. I'm hungry. and the best character... Okay, there's reasons. Okay, so there's a cat that saves all of the puppies. His name is Sergeant Tibbs. And when the puppies get taken, the mommy dog and the daddy dog, they're trying to find their kids, and they go to the underground, the London yard for puppies.
Yeah.
And then it's Sergeant Tibbs, because the horse is the colonel, and then he sends out Sergeant Tibbs to find the puppies, and it's great. But it's fabulous because
before you go any further, I just so that I understand this correctly. So, when 2 of us tie for first place, does that mean that she's second or third? Makes you third, right?
Okay. So, but then you've got this. This came out in 56, and the family in here, they don't have any kids. It's just 2 single people raising a bunch of puppies.
Living the dream.
It sets the stage for modern relationships. Where you just got 2 contemporary city people, and they're like, fuck having kids. We're just going to have 15 puppies. And then the cat saves the day. And then there's a hungry puppy who's always hungry.
No, I
100% the best.
101% see why you picked this.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
But then I was going to pick all of Disney, but that...
You would have had I would have...
Yeah, I don't think I would have let you pick Disney.
Yeah. Because it doesn't start on a book, I guess. Does it?
A lot of the Disney.
I know a lot of them did, but I just mean that
it wasn't the Disney franchise wasn't.
101 Dalmatians, but it was written by Dodie Smith, and then the Starlight Barking, which is the sequel, was 1967. But yeah, I didn't realize that they were making a new animated series. Comes out in 2019.
I didn't either.
But
also don't care.
And then Cruella de Vil.
Yeah.
No, the Devil Wears Prada is basically Cruella de Vil.
Yeah. Well, all right. You are wrong, but it's a fun.
But it's a good,
fun choice.
I was sitting here listening to you guys these are all of my numbers and statistics. I'm like, Oh, we're not that kind of podcast. Why did you guys suddenly become that kind of podcast? It was just, we always argue arbitrary reasons. And here I am like...
Well, I think Derek is normally that kind of podcast. I think that is pretty much Derek. And I wanted to come correct.
Oh.
Because
I wasn't sure if there was going to be pushback or not.
Yeah. And so, no, I like... All right, your pick is clearly wrong.
Oh,
but it's clearly wrong.
Let's let the listeners decide.
It's a fun pick, and I think it is kind of more in tone with...
It's 100% correct.
For the bulk of the podcast.
But no, I really liked Chronicles of Narnia. They made tons of money, lots of money.
Well, here's the thing. Like, Chronicles of Narnia is not going to be more influential than Lord of the Rings.
Let's see.
Because I feel like Chronicles of Narnia is like
what is your...
They're contemporaries.
Different question. What's not the best? What's your favorite? Like, because that
James
would
Bond.
be like favorite.
James Bond.
Like, I could definitely see that. Like, you can make the argument like this is my favorite because of these goofy, funny reasons. Because I'm a crazy cat lady.
I mean, I don't know.
But Crazy Cat Lady who picked a puppy movie.
It would be really. It really would be a tie
cat
between
you were
Lord.
talking about.
I think it really would be a tie between Lord of the Rings and James Bond. Like, I love, like, Lord of the Rings has been far more influential on my life, but I do like the James Bond movies a lot. Like, I kind of grew up watching those. The Batman would have been a good one, but I just don't read Batman anymore, really. So it's like Batman. I used to read the fuck out of it when I was younger.
I was just curious, like, because when we looked at there's a Wikipedia page that had all these, and you can kind of see which ones came out of books and which ones didn't. What was it? Was it 50 or 100 of the top?
No, I don't. I think it just like.
Or did it just list?
It just listed like anything that had made like more than like $1 billion, I think, or something like that.
Well, looking at that, I was kind of just trying to decide.
There were some great franchises on there that weren't like, but like here's the surprise: we've got this far in this podcast, and this is the first time that MCU is getting mentioned.
I mentioned DC, and I mentioned it, but
Marvel,
I didn't want to go with that for a lot of reasons.
Same,
but also, if I'm perfectly honest, I like anime more than I like.
Well, like, so Game of Thrones, we mentioned that, but I don't think Game of Thrones is going to have the legs that something like.
Had the last season of Game of Thrones not been hot garbage.
I have a hot take. I have a hot take on that.
You don't get to have one.
Says the man who hasn't watched any.
No.
Okay.
Because this is all right. So I've been thinking on this a lot here lately. It seems like there's just a lot of stuff that the internet has just really been hating on, and this is kind of the most recent thing. When I was talking with Corey
the
about
internet loves to hate on things.
Well, when I was talking to Corey about this the other day, there was a lot of stuff, like some other things I mentioned. Now I can't remember any of the other things that but like, so here's what I think is part of the problem. Game of Thrones. So much of the Game of Thrones fandom was theorizing, just like come up with theories, this, that, and the other. Like, people are constantly like, I read the fuck out of those. Like, you have a 2-year gap between seasons, and it's just filled with theories, theory after theory after theory, and people get really defensive of these theories. Like, they really lock into them, and like, there's some really intense internet arguments over there over theories like this. So then when it finally comes out, so much of it is like, well, all these theories are proven wrong, and I feel like a lot of hate that is thrown at this. I'm not saying that the hate on the final season was or wasn't justified, but I'm saying that I think a large portion of the hate that's getting thrown at it is thrown at people that had vested interest in theories that didn't pan out. And like I had a lot more other things. I was like, oh well, look, it's just this kind of seems a pattern of stuff that like. There's long gaps while you're waiting for the next one to come out, and people fill the time. When it finally comes out, it doesn't live up to like you give 1 million people on the internet 2 years to think up theories, they're going to come up with better shit than the writers can. Like, that's just you put 1 million chimpanzees typing away in a room, they're going to write Shakespeare. It's just you put that many people, there's eventually someone going to come up with a theory that is better that people are going to fall in love with, but the writers are locked in on this. So I think that's kind of a hot take on the hate on season 7, 8, or whatever.
See, okay, I'm just going to completely shift gears because I don't want to get into that.
No, I'm gonna.
No, I was just thinking like other franchises that are super popular, like Harry Potter. I like well enough, but it's not going to be my favorite. I didn't get into Harry Potter until late.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I like it. I enjoy it.
It's very influential.
Yeah, I mean, I like it,
Derek,
but I'm not gonna like.
What was your
He's my
take?
favorite.
What was your take on my take?
It's wrong.
Okay.
I understand what you're saying, and that is a thing that a lot of people have said, and it makes me real mad because people have been spending a lot of time, and not necessarily you on this one because you don't know because you haven't watched it. You're only looking at it from the outside, going, "This is kind of what I'm seeing," and there is some of that, definitely some of that, but the majority of it is. It was just bad. Like, and I get tired of people.
Oh, you're talking
telling
about
me,
you're just talking about specifically Game of Thrones.
Yeah, just
Okay.
Game of Thrones. Like this
Well,
was. Like,
I think this is a trend that's far larger than Game of Thrones.
I think that it's but if you, okay, let's say that might be a trend, but I'm looking at the specifics of Game of Thrones on this one, and I can see that people are claiming that that's the issue, and it's not.
It could come into play a little bit, but I definitely think the final season was rushed and ham-fisted and blah blah blah.
And
But,
it's-
see,
they overpromised, undersold.
yeah, I just don't want to get into it because fuck Game of Thrones. I'm over it.
All right.
He could
So,
never write that book, or he could write it tomorrow. I don't care.
All right. So, what listeners do you think is the best franchise based on a book?
I'm hungry, mother.
If you say 101 Dalmatians, I'm going to be legitimately shocked.
It's great. It
is good.
It's one of the movies that I can rewatch.
Yes, but
Winnie the Pooh is the best.
I mean, objectively speaking,
let's
Winnie
be-
the Pooh is
I'm going to
probably
be honest,
the best.
of all the things that we've talked about on all these different franchises and things I saw in that, like really the one that jumped out at me and made me want to be like, I kind of want to revisit that now is Winnie the Pooh.
Should we do an episode where we just deep dive on Winnie the Pooh?
Can we go conspiracy theory, or do we have to be legit?
Can we conspiracy theory Paw Patrol?
I'm gonna get him a Paw Patrol.
That's gonna be my new
toothbrush holder.
spin-off podcast. Is Bob talks Paw Patrol, libertarian conspiracy
Bob
theories
Patrol.
of Paw. Yeah, call it Bob Patrol. If y'all want that, we'll put a tier on Patreon for a spin-off libertarian propaganda Paw Patrol podcast. I see Derek's confused face. There's a theory out there that Paw Patrol, this very popular kids show, is libertarian propaganda disguised as it's hilarious theory. Oh my God! All right, so we're gonna end on this because we're running a little long.
Yeah.
This is the best. I love a good fan theory about a movie or something like that. You know, the whole like Aladdin is set in the future,
Yeah.
or Rugrats is really
The
all the
kids
Yeah,
dead.
the kids are all just figments of Angelica's imagination. Okay, John Wick is what happened. That Neo actually took the blue pill instead of the red pill, and they put him back in the Matrix. But because of who he was, they knew they needed to keep his mind active, or he would break out again. So they made him John Wick, and that's why Lawrence Fishburne is in both movies. They put him in, so they knew that he would look for Lawrence Fishburne, so they put him in there as a thing, so he wouldn't then seek out, Morpheus kind of deal. So like, it's a great theory. I love this theory so much.
Okay.
All right, yeah, okay. So
Here's the puppies.
here's the puppies. In the coming week,
15 puppies.
as the tiny Dalmatian puppies that are hungry, as they pitter patter around your living room and eat your food and don't get turned into fur coats.
Yeah.
I hope that they are house trained and
Yes.
that the blessing of the beard will be upon you.
Woof woof. Thanks for listening to this episode of Books, Beards, Booze. Our co-hosts are Bob, Derek, and Tanya. Our producer is Bob. For more information, visit our website, booksbeardsbooze.com. Follow our social media at Tales by Bob. If you enjoyed this podcast, please rate, subscribe, and share. Okay, bye.